Here's what nobody's told you. AI tools help you complete tasks. But we as business owners, right, we just don't want to complete tasks. We want to achieve outcomes, which means we want to get real results. And I used to collect AI tools like Pokemon cards, like I had ChatGPT for like general stuff, Claude for writing, for brainstorming, Nano Banana for images, Notion AI for database. I had like 17 different browser tabs open all the time. I was basically collecting these AI tools, and then I figured out that the more tools I collected, it ultimately ended up being more work for me, right? And the only way that I could change that was to stop using AI tools altogether and start thinking of AI as an employee. I asked myself, what if I could get AI to use the right tools for me on my behalf? Just, give it a goal and ask it to do the job. See, the thing is, there's a massive difference between these two things. Most people are using AI like a fancy calculator. You press a button, you get an answer, move on. But I don't think that's where the real power is at all. The real power is when AI works for you, when you're sleeping, when you're in meetings, when you're actually living your life. It's Tuesday morning, you sit down to work, you open ChatGPT, you write an email, then you jump to Claude, to research something for a client. Then you hop on over to Jasper, maybe to do some social media posts. Then back to ChatGPT for a different email. Then maybe Grammarly to clean it all up. Does this sound familiar to you? Because it definitely sounds exactly like Tuesday afternoon that I had not too long ago. Okay. I was spending time switching between tools than actually getting any real work done, you know. And there was a recent study I read, and it found that 84% of freelancers are using AI. Yeah, 84%. The thing is, most of them, they're using it in this exact way. They're stuck in the tool trap, hopping tools all day long, one thing to another, one thing to another, one thing to the another. And the thing is, this isn't real automation. I was doing the same thing. I had bookmarks for 12 different AI agents and AI tools. I was pretty close to becoming that guy who has a color coded spreadsheet tracking which tool is best for what task. It was ridiculous. I thought I was trying to be efficient, but efficient is it's not even about the real cost of the fees. It's the mental overhead. Every time I switched tools, I lost context. You have to remember what you were doing, where you were, how each tool works differently from the last one. And it really felt more like switching between like a hammer and a screwdriver versus hiring a carpenter to do the job. Technically, both will get the job done. But with the first one, you are the one who's working. With the second one, you're getting the work done. I realized that when I was using tools, I was still the bottleneck. I was still manually moving information from tool A to tool B to tool C. And that is not automation. That is still manual labor. It's faster, but it's still manual labor. Now, how is that different from having an AI employee? So a tool does one thing when you ask it to do it. Okay. An AI employee does an entire job. And once you set it up, it does it without you even asking. So let me show you, or let me tell you about what I mean. Um, Yesterday, I was onboarding a new client, right? And every time I get a client, I have to understand what their business needs are. So I ask them a bunch of questions. And normally, I'd create a template form of some sort, send it out to them so that they have these questions in a form. It's a standardized process. And I would build that form, or I would ask someone to build that form for me. But now I said, I have an AI employee. Let me just ask my AI employee to build it. So what I did was I took my phone, I literally said to my AI employee, I said, I want you to build a tally form that's basically an intake form for new clients for my 7 days to an AI employee challenge. It's a challenge that helps business owners who have never had any experience with AI build an AI employee from scratch. Okay, these are the questions you're supposed to ask it. There are 12 questions. build a tally form, and get back to me. So she did that. She took her 5 minutes. She was done. She showed it to me. And I said, great. Then I said, just hook it up to a Google Sheet. And every time somebody fills the form, send me a ping on Telegram. That's it. Right. And Friday, that's the name of my AI employee, just said to me, got it. Would you like to do a test run right now? That's it. That's the full process of how I got it to do the job. Right. And it's not just this. I have her doing research for me. So every time I wake up Monday morning, I have a brilliant research report in my inbox, beautifully formatted. She sends me the recent news articles, competitor analysis, industry trends, basically things that I would normally spend every Monday morning researching. It's already there waiting for me. Right? That's the difference. If I was using a tool, I would still have to do the research myself. It'd be faster, but I built an employee. The difference is this AI employee, it's doing the whole job without me intervening at all. Okay. An employee is somebody who works while I sleep, who never forgets, who never gets tired, never asks for a raise, and every time keeps getting smarter and smarter, right? Because the real thing that blew my mind, okay, here's the crazy part. The report that it was giving me was better than the one I would do myself. Because I'm a human being. And when you take a lot of information, you start getting tired. But an AI employee, it reads everything. Every article, goes through every video, analyzes every number, and it synthesizes all of it into exactly what I need to know, exactly how I want it. Right? Uh, I was using it to make research reports for my content. When I saw these research reports, my confidence in making content started going up because the reports gave me so much know-how. And the thing is, I still had all of my energy because I didn't spend any of it making the report. Right? So it's not just researching or building forms. Friday also publishes content for me. I record a video like this one, I drop it into a folder, then it'll pick it up from there, it'll transcribe it, it will then make YouTube descriptions, it will repurpose it to Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and basically schedule it to be published everywhere. All I did was record the video and put it up, nothing else. Right? So let's just do the math over here, because the research itself saves me 2 hours, 3 hours a week. Okay, that's 104 hours a year. I have it written down, by the way. I'm reading it out. Okay, my math is not so good. The publishing agent, it saves me 4 hours per week. That's more than 200 hours, right? Every year. And the crazy part is these hours compound, because now I have 6 extra hours every week to focus on the work that actually matters. The strategy, the big picture thinking, the client calls, things that generate actual revenue, recording more content. Because I'm actually excited to do these videos way more because I'm not drowning in execution, right? I have more time to give to all the things that matter. And here's something else. The AI employee keeps getting better every time you use it. Like every week, every day, it learns a little bit more about me, a little bit more about my preferences, a little bit more about my style, my vision, my goals, my business, right? I'll tell you a really crazy story. Last week, Friday, my COO agent started asking me questions about a content piece. She's like, give me your thoughts. Like, give me a story about, this thing that we're working on. Because she wanted my genuine take and not just create some standardized, AI slop script. It actually wanted to know things in my voice. That's the compounding effect. Your AI employees don't just save you time, they start anticipating what you need, right? They start working ahead of you. It's like having a team of people who know exactly how you think, exactly what you need, and exactly when you need it. The difference between tools and AI employees isn't just efficiency, it's leverage. Tools help you work faster, but an employee lets you work on something else entirely. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Jay, that sounds great, but I'm not technical. I can't build an AI employee. And here's the thing, that's not the real barrier. You do not need technical skills in order to build an AI employee like I have. It's the real barrier that's stopping you is actually knowing what to automate. Okay. I actually learned this the hard way, right? The first 3 weeks I got my hands on AI and actually started tinkering with this stuff. I built the wrong thing. It's so embarrassing, but I was so excited. I said, okay, you know what? I've got this crazy idea and I'm going to build it. So I have this really amazing personality assessment. It's been something that's been living in my head, and I wanted to use it to actually help people. So I built this elaborate assessment. It gives people a very detailed, like the most detailed result about their personality patterns, their thought patterns, their emotional patterns. Beautiful report. It emails them the report after do the test. It also sends them follow ups, and it's just brilliant. I was so proud of it. I showed it to everyone. Look what I built, and people did love it. But the problem was that it didn't move the needle forward. Okay, not because it wasn't good. It was good, but it wasn't the right thing to build at that time. It wasn't what the business needed at that time, right? It didn't get me results. I was still spending 2, 3, 4 hours a week staring at a screen trying to do research, right? That's where I was reading time. That's where I was stuck. But did I automate that? No, because it seemed boring in comparison to the idea of building this software, this thing that analyzes personalities, which is still quite cool. It's still there. I love it, but this is what most people do. They build things without doing a real audit of their business, of the real bottlenecks. It's a decision making issue. People make bad decisions. I make bad decisions. And AI can't solve for your bad decisions. I'm sorry, right? The real wins come from automating the stuff that's actually broken in your business. So the stuff that makes you want to throw your laptop out the window, right? For me, that was the research part of the content creation process, right? It was the follow ups, right? It was scheduling content, you know, hours scrolling through competitor posts, checking what they were doing. Just, I hated it. I just did not like that whole part of the process. And that's what needed fixing. So here's something that you could do. If you're somebody who is like a service provider and is looking for ways to upgrade AI automation into their business, stop looking for tools. Stop bookmarking those 101 AI tools for entrepreneur type articles. Crap, bullshit, won't work, right? Instead, I'll give you a very practical framework. Pick one job, one broken process in your business. Okay, what's that one job that's keeping you up at night? Keeps pulling you back in. You can't delegate it, you can't eliminate it. Maybe something like research or planning or scheduling or creating quotations or follow-ups or whatever, right? That's your starting point. Is the thing that makes you think there has to be a better way to do this. And if you're not sure what to pick, I've actually built an agent to help you. Okay, there's a link in the description below. It'll link you to my AI gap analyst. It'll ask you 11 questions and it'll give you a personalized AI agent blueprint in under 3 minutes. Okay, so it will tell you exactly the kind of AI employees that you will need. So if you go ahead and do that test and then take what the results you get and put in the comments below, I might pick one of those out or all of them out and make a follow-up video of what I would do, how I would build it. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, click on the link, take the test, and drop in your results in the comments below. I'm going to read every single one, and you know, hopefully, we can find some interesting projects that we can tackle together. But let's say you now know what it is that you want to tackle. You're going to build one AI employee, and it's going to save you time, real time. Okay, Then you can go ahead and build another one, and then another one. And 6 months from now, you're going to look back and you're going to realize you've automated more than half your business, not with tools, but with real AI employees. That's it. That's all you need. So it's a very exciting future ahead of us. 2026 is just the beginning. Things are only going to get crazier. I'm going to be here on the cutting edge, and I hope that you can also join me. Take care. See ya.